We loved him. Obviously, we all did. And we're here today to celebrate the naming of one of the conference rooms here at the John Marshall Library in the Rose Hill portion of Alexandria in his honor. And I was honored to be a staff member with the library for about 4 years with Mr. Jasper on the board.
Also, being at the beautiful, newly renovated John Marshall Library, where I served as branch manager just a few years ago. At that time, Mark Sickles was the trustee, so he can vouch that it was only a few years ago. 2 or 3, yeah, we won't go into. And the math won't add up when you figure how long Will was the trustee, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so as we know, Will was a people person. And one look at his career reveals his commitment to service and his lifelong dedication to working with people. With an advanced degree in management information systems from American University.
He was an amazing public servant who was commissioned as an officer in the medical corps, which we heard earlier, and spent 21 years in the military. Once he retired, he devoted much of his time and service to many different organizations here in Northern Virginia. He served as a deacon at Alfred Street Baptist Church for over 20 years. I think this is a befitting recognition for Mr. Jasper, and I'm just so happy for all the contributions and all the things that he was able to do for his community. And thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this dedication.
I don't know how many years Will made it, but and several people. Charles, you must have broken 25 years, yeah, of good service, yeah. So it's good to see all of you. Some of you I recognize, even with the mask on, but it's harder. So keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to the new central library. Not that this library isn't perfect. This library is perfect. It was renovated in perfect condition. But we also have another big one coming in the central part of the 43rd District in Lee District that I helped get started many years ago. And then I know Will has helped shepherd that along too. And maybe we can make a room named after him over in that new library too. I don't know. It's good to see my good friend Jim Moran here. Maybe I should turn it over to Jim next while we're waiting for. Here's the chairman.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And I've learned something today. Maybe I should move Board of Supervisors meetings to different districts, and they'd probably be shorter if I did that, which would be a good thing. But I actually have been, by the end of the day today, I will have been in every magisterial district in the county physically today, and so I can attest for how big this county is. When I think about today's state of political affairs and dialogue, I think about Will a lot, because we really need a lot more people like Will right now, who speak in a tone and a tenor, are polite and kind, and treat every person with respect without caring necessarily who they are, what position they hold, where they come from, but they talk to everybody like a neighbor in just a kind, soft-spoken, statesman-like way, the way that Will talked to everyone. And the second thing that we need more of Wills in the world is people who step up and help their community, who care about the neighborhood they live in, who not only serve and fight for affordable housing, but also who fight for funding for libraries, which are an access portal for so many people in the county, no matter your age or income. They're an access to the world portal. And Will understood that. And I have flashbacks of Will a lot in so many different venues. Library board meetings, talking about tough issues in a very soft-spoken way that calmed everybody down. To his smile when I walked in the Lee District Rec Center as a volunteer, working behind the counter, just trying to greet people and say something kind and nice to them, to get a response and a smile back from them. Just the type of person and the type of treasure that we need more of in this world right now, and one that each person here today had a real blessing to have an opportunity to meet and get to know someone like that. And someone that we should all be thinking about and aspiring to live our lives the way that he lived his life. And it's so fitting to name a room at this library for him in his community that he made a difference in. And for people to come in and see his name emblazoned on a community room in the library for somebody who defined community, someone who was what community is all about, to look at his name and think about and ask questions. Who was this guy? You know, one of the best things about naming something after someone is people say, who was this guy? Who was this woman? And then you get to tell the whole story, and they get to reflect about how they can take a tiny piece of Will's personality and put it in themselves and make the world a little bit better place. And so he was a friend of mine, somebody I met very, very early in getting involved in community affairs and politics, someone who, when I saw him on my list of people to meet with during the day, I was happy about. Not everyone on my calendar gets that same response. But Will always did, and I always knew when I left the meeting with him, I would be a lot calmer and a lot more educated about something and think about things in a much more civil way. And if I remember anything at all, I want to remember that, because we need more of it in today's world. And so it's a pleasure to join you today. I can't tell you how proud I am of the entire Jasper family. Daryl, it's wonderful to see you. But also of our libraries, because he's really smiling today, because this is, he would say, not about him, but about our libraries, about affordable housing, about our parks, about the things I was passionate for, and turning that baton to future people to step up and fill the massive void that's been left that was Will Jasper. And it's on all of us. It's our obligation to do that. And so in closing, I want to thank our county staff from the libraries who are here too, because, you know, as we recover from this pandemic, it's not lost on me any day, the hard work and challenges that our county staff have faced, making sure that services didn't stop for our residents, that no matter what our challenges were, we still responded to our community concerns. You are public servants in the utmost, and I want to thank you for what you do every day too. So thank you for having me today.
And everything that has been said has been wholly consistent. He impressed you not with the decibel kind of his voice, if you will. He was always thoughtful. I never heard him yell, ever. And you're right, Jeff. You can't say that about a whole lot of people, can you? Particularly constituents who always had an agenda. Will actually did have an agenda, but he communicated it in just such a nice, thoughtful way that it didn't. Yeah, this is something we ought to work together on. Yeah, this is a good idea. Never encountered Will that he wasn't smiling. Of course, I never really encountered him without you being by his side, Daryl, but maybe that's why he was always smiling. That would make sense, wouldn't it, Nikki? Yeah. But he was always smiling. Never encountered him that he wasn't thoughtful. And I never left a conversation with him that I wasn't thinking about something that we ought to do. And I know I share that with Rodney and Mark and Jeff and anyone else here who, you know, had it in their ability to improve the community in any way possible. And one other thing, I really treasure. Do you remember those lunch we had up in the Capitol? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. The four of us. Yeah.
And his parents.
Yes, his parents. Right. Exactly. Yeah. That was just so nice, and I remember being so proud to be sitting there with you guys. It was just, you know, and he belonged there because he was a real leader that had really dedicated so much of his life to the public betterment. So anyways, it was a privilege. I know we all share that, a privilege to have known Will, and it's going to be a fond recognition of who he was every time that we go into this room, this conference room, and
as I was wonderfully introduced, I'm Isaac Feldman. Thank you so much again for being here today. Will Jasper was my granddad. That's what my twin sister Samantha and I called him. And though Samantha can't be here because, well, it's the last day of finals week for her, I'm honored to be speaking for both of us. You already know that Granddad was dedicated to public service, but Samantha and I wanted to share some of the lessons we learned from him as well. His middle initial was O, and the family members here will know that it stood for Owen, but O may as well have stood for outstanding. How are you, Granddad? Outstanding. I can still hear him say it. Samantha and I learned from our granddad that we need to bring that positive attitude to everything we do. It's the drive that can get you through the rough waters. It helps you celebrate your successes. And if you say you're outstanding with conviction, you inspire others to be outstanding too. I can tell that he brought that outstanding attitude to the library board, to the housing authority, and to Alfred Street Baptist Church, and to the Urban League Guild, and to Omega Psi Phi fraternity. He truly embodied it. The list goes on. He was more than just an outstanding granddad, though. He taught us some more important life lessons that I'll share now. First, show up and be prepared. Let me tell you that our granddad was, almost busier in retirement than he was while working. He knew how to show up for his community and for his family. And if you asked him to come, he'd be there. He was always prepared. He taught me the importance of backing the car into the parking space so you were ready to go. He reviewed agendas. He read all the documents. We watched him serve as president of the Jasper Family Reunion Committee, and Samantha and I know how to run a meeting because of him, including proper use of Robert's Rules of Order. Next lesson, be patient and be kind. Most of all, Samantha and I hope we inherit Granddad's patience, his curiosity, his kindness. He always patiently listened to us, always wanted to know more, and always had words of encouragement. After you're done interacting with someone, did they make you feel better or worse? Granddad always made us feel better. And I know most of you had that same experience. And now it's our turn to follow his example. One way to honor his memory is to make sure that every meeting in the Willard Jasper Community Room is filled with outstanding volunteers who show up with a positive attitude, prepared to work, filled with patience and tolerance for their fellow citizens. On behalf of the Jasper family, thank you for honoring his memory, thank you for this wonderful ceremony, and thank you for being here today.